what is it that you believe is the biggest factor that's made you successful? Who wants to take that on?
I could go.
Okay.
I think for me, it was going from being at home and then the mindset of, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to fully invest my time into this. So I think for me, it was more mindset and it was going into an office and not knowing what I was in store for. And just so happened there was an agent there. I think he was about 2 years in and he was already top producing. And we did a lot of collaboration. I spent a lot of time in the office in the beginning. So I think mindset for me was a big thing for success.
If I can like dig a little bit deeper, when you say mindset, because and that could be a pretty broad term, are you
Mhm.
referring to like opening your mind to the possibilities or like I'm good, I'm strong, I'm worthy? Like what mindset are you referring to?
So my mindset was if I'm gonna do something different, then I'm gonna be all in or none in. So I mean, besides being a parent, I was never had that ability to have that mindset. So, and I was also trying to get out of certain situations, those kind of things. And I said, okay, I'm going in and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna show up. And I knew at least that's what it took to show up. And I'm gonna learn this and I'm going to if I can't be full into it and be successful and a top producer, I didn't want anything else.
Okay, I love that. Chuck, how about you?
Yeah, I think for me, I was racking my brain a little bit because first, thank you for the invitation. I feel very humbled by all the fantastic agents we have in our brokerage across the country. I feel like the little Minnie Mouse or Mickey Mouse, the little mouse among the big fishes. So it's quite an honor to even have this opportunity. But I would say as I was racking my brain, I thought about my own individual success, and I think sometimes it's hard to recognize the greatness in ourselves. Um, but I honestly was thinking that my potential for success is honestly far greater than my ability to fuck it all up. And
Okay.
I feel like so many of the times, and I hope that word didn't offend anyone, but if you say screw it up, it just doesn't have the same impact. But um, I honestly feel like I've been lucky sometimes. And the fact is that we all have not only our brokerage out there rooting for us, but we have our communities that we're individually connected with. We have our family, we have our friends. There's always constant support that's out there just rooting us on. And sometimes when we don't even recognize it and we feel like we're very alone, it's there. So, and I feel like sometimes that if we just think about it, whether it's God, universe, family, friends, support, whatever it might be, the fact is that we even when we get in our own way, we still have success if we're just open to it. And I've had some interesting things over the last couple of years, but this year has been a very interesting year in real estate for me. It's been my best year. It's been my best year ever. I've already succeeded my previous two best years already this year. So I'm pretty happy about that, given the nature of what I'm feeling and hearing in other areas.
That gives me goosebumps, man. That's freaking awesome. Catherine, how about you?
Uh, I feel like Chuck, I'm just very humbled that you guys asked me to speak on this. I haven't been an agent for very long. It hasn't even been a year yet since I got my license. And I think that it is the mindset that you have and like the community that you surround yourself with because I have a business partner that I talk to every single day. And whether I want to or not, like we talk and we get ourselves out of bed and we go and we meet somewhere if we, between showings or whatever it is, it's just the accountability of you have to work. It's really easy when, you don't have anything going on or you're kind of woe is me, nothing's happening to just like kind of be in that funk, but being around people who can drag you out of it or just tell you you're being stupid really helps. So having that community, I have Chris and I have the team together. So, I have team members calling me, just even asking me questions all the time. What's going on here? How can I write this remedy? that helps too, because it just like it brings the community out. And I think that that is something that has helped me in this first year, where I hear a lot of people kind of are on this island, or they're on like they're by themselves, they don't know what to do, and that's really hard. And I think that having the five brokerage to connect with, like I know I can call you, Nazar, and be like, hey, I need you to help me recruit this person over here or something, and you'll answer the phone. And knowing that I can go to Chris and be like, hey, I need this from the brokerage, or can you do this in Ohio, and he's there to answer. Just having that accountability and the community has really helped me be able to sell as much as I can this year.
I love it when I meet someone that's, newer in the industry, because you don't know what you don't know. And so this market's hard. This market's hard. This is not a fun, yay, 2022, everything's awesome. We're not there. And so to be able to get into this market when it's hard, and obviously Jamie could attest, like, and still doing phenomenal, like that shows a lot of there. It's awesome. So kudos to you. So speaking of that, when the market isn't great, when the market isn't sunshine and roses and daisies, how do you stay, like, how do you still do it? How do you like personally have the momentum needed to be able to still do the hard things, even when the results aren't immediate?
I think for me, it's still sticking to what I do every day. It's sticking to that schedule. And you just continue to do what has brought you to where you are in this business. You don't just take a day off because there's nothing going on. I mean, we all need time off, but you stick to that daily schedule and you stick to your follow up. You still talk to those people that you have built relationships with over the last year or 10 years or 20 years. You still take everything you have implemented and then you follow through with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Catherine, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, consistency, like she said, is really the key there. I mean, whether you want to do it or not, you
I
have your
know, but
daily schedule,
everyone
you
says
have
that.
your weekly
Everyone
schedule.
says
But it's true, but
consistency.
it's hard to do it. Like not a lot of
Yeah.
people actually do it.
So
So
how do you do
I
it? How do you
I
personally do it?
have I have a couple of different calendars. I have my kids' calendar, I have my family calendar, I have my work calendar, and I write all the events and all the things in there. And then each week on Sunday night, I put all of that into a weekly calendar. And this is overkill probably, but then daily, I do the same thing and I write my daily calendar down. So I know what I'm supposed to do. I know when I'm supposed to do it, and I just check it off when I do it. And if I see that I haven't checked something off, then I have to the next day, and that ruins my next day. So I just make sure to do it that day. But it is true, like the consistency and just doing it, whether you want to or not. If you just rely on your emotions and just rely on, do I feel like good today? Do I feel like I want to work today? Is it sunny out? Is it raining out? If you stick to that,
Mm,
that's when I feel like I would not have business, right? But because I just stick to my, whether I have a contract right now or a BBA signed or a listing, if I just stick to this, I know I'll get one.
love that. Chuck?
My consistency is being inconsistent. I am really good. I'm very consistent at being inconsistent, and I don't know. Like really truly love real estate. I know we always say, "Oh, we love what we do." I really love it. I love what I do. I love the people I do it for. So the relationships are so important to me, and I think my authentic approach to that really helps me and aids me. I'm a poor example of by design, as Tom Ferry always said. I'm horrible at that. I'm more fortunate in that I think sometimes I will admit sometimes I look at my bank account and I go, oh shit, I better get to work. So I I think again, that's what I was saying earlier, is that I think my potential for success is far greater than my ability to screw it all up, because I'm just passionate about people. And when you're passionate about people, I think that really helps. I don't ever want real estate to become a job for me, because the day it becomes a job, it's no longer fun for me. and I will no longer probably approach it with any enthusiasm whatsoever. I'll just show up. So,
Okay. Imagine you started day one today. You've got nothing in the pipeline, no past clients, no Zillow leads coming in, nothing. What do you do for the next 30 days?
um, I would ruffle some feathers here, maybe when I say this, but I would stay off ChatGPT.
So what would you
I,
do?
well, and I say that because I feel like that, like, there's so much. We go to ChatGPT for so much, and I use ChatGPT. I really do. It helps me organize my thoughts sometimes, or it tries to. And it helps me correct my horrible grammar and English language, but and spelling. But what I also believe is that we've become so dependent on ChatGPT that we've lost our authentic self in so many ways. And we ask ChatGPT to tell us who we are. What are my best attributes? What should I share with my people? How should I touch my clients and those types of things? What can I use to market myself and all of these wonderful things about me that I'm asking you to tell me what's wonderful about me. And I think what society right now needs more than anything is they need an authentic you, being you and loving on them. And I think the more we can dive into just reconnecting with ourselves and really putting that out there and just being authentic in those conversations, like knowing what's going on in your clients' lives and like truly caring about it. And I mean, I don't, I'm a poor example of someone that you should follow. I'm just going to tell you that right up front, folks. But my pillar is my only pillar, and that is my authentic relationships with my clients. And they lead to, I don't have to ask referrals. The referrals just come to me naturally. And I'm so grateful for that. But I think it's because I truly love on my clients on the regular. So
I love that. What about Erica?
I think I would do exactly like I did in the beginning. I would be around, try to one, be in the office so I could hear what other agents are discussing so I could learn the language. I've mentored several agents where they just were in the room and they learned so much off of the conversations that I was having, how I handled certain situations. So I would just show up and be around that type of people. Hope those agents are with a great company like you have, like you built and we've all built together as agents. And know that we have people to reach out to, hey, are you doing an open house? Can I come sit with you and see how you handle those things? Again, it's just being around those like-minded people. And that's kind of what I did. I wanted to be around like-minded people with a mindset. I was lucky enough. Love you, Ann. I love being with this company too. But my first brokerage, I was supposed to go to Keller Williams, and my mentor at the time's like, "Hey, I'm going here." Chris Adams and I are still very good friends today. And he was my first broker. He gave me opportunities, get to know your broker, sit down with them, or other agents. They may open opportunities for you that you have no ideas right there in front of you and that you can perform those. Like mine gave me all these internet leads. I didn't, I was very shy at the time, believe it or not. And I'm like, I don't want to get on the phone with these people. I don't know how to send an email. And I just started doing it. And it's different now, but some agents used to go with the builders. Builders used to have these in other areas. They may still be able to do this, but they would do open houses, like introducing their communities. I got to know those agents. I sat with D.R. Horton 7 days a week. And I mean, my first year not being from Alabama, not really having a spear, except for maybe people my kids went to school with or whatever. Um, that brought opportunity with me. I mean, closing, it doesn't sound like a big thing now, but I think 32 my first year, not knowing anybody. And that was mainly new build sales, number one. And number two, working those leads, which in fact, I'm working 4 of those right now from my first year ever in real estate by follow up. So I would do the same thing I did before. Just be around like-minded people. I know that was a lot, but just be around like-minded people and spend time with those people.
If I could add to that, I would say not just like-minded people, but stick around people that are doing the things that you want to do.
Right.
Right. Catherine, anything to add?
Just talk. If I didn't have like Zillow or something, I'd either find a team that was going to give me leads, or I'd just talk to as many people as I could. Just join different I don't know, associations or like groups even. They don't have to do anything with real estate. Just talk to as many people as possible. I don't know, knock on doors, go to the mall, walk around, bother people, but just talk to as many people.
Okay. Um, one mistake, your biggest mistake you've made, and how, if you can go back, how would you avoid it? And what would you tell agents like, don't freaking do this, don't make this mistake like I did?
Stay out of your head.
Don't assume they're, oh, sorry, you go, Chuck. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking, stay out of your head. Like, stay out of there because it's a dangerous place to be, as Tom Ferry always says. But I'm thinking particularly about a situation recently. I had a listing, and um, it was with a client. It was quite a bit of ways. It's about an hour and 15 minutes away. Poor Bob has heard this tragic story multiple times, but and helped me through it as well. But had a listing, and my clients, they bought it at an unfortunate time. 2 years ago, they overpaid, and they wanted to sell because they're building a brand new home, and they were hoping for that buyer from California or New York that had lots of money and didn't care and would overpay for a house. We went on the market. I told them what I believed their house would sell for in the beginning. They were not patient. Didn't really have any showings. We had an open house, had 4 people come through it. They had some time because it was a new construction situation, but ultimately they called me and fired me, and that was very humbling. They were friends. I mean, I was at their house last Christmas Eve, and I found myself incredibly distraught about that entire situation. I got into my head. I doubted everything I'd said, everything I did. I thought, man, I did them a huge disinjustice. I was like, I'm such a failure. I'm such a loser. I just got right in here in this head. And ironically, that contributed to some of my success this year, because as I went to get my key box, my Supra, and my sign and do the walk of shame, the real estate walk of shame, I was driving past property. I saw a for sale by owner sign. I almost kept driving because I was so distraught and I just wanted to stay in my shit. And but I turned around, I went back, I pulled into this driveway, and the serenity that hit me when I pulled into this property was insane. Like, the energy of the property was crazy. I'm not huge into that, but I felt it that day. I called the lady, she answered the phone. I said, I think I have someone that might be interested. I called my client, or text my client, sent him a picture. She said, we'd love to see it. 14 days later, we closed at 1,150,000 cash. That turned into the property next door being closed at 1.1 million cash, and it turned into the property on the other side being closed at 1.1 million cash, all within like 60 days of losing this listing. Of course, I had the buy side on that, so I closed on that property, and when I did, my client apologized to me profusely. She said, I don't know how you guys do it. She said, I'm so sorry. And she said, we had an offer, but and I was like, well, you need to talk to your agent. But I said, if you remember, I told you what I thought your house would sell for, and you probably should take this offer because it's more than that. It's a little bit more than that. Ultimately, that didn't work out, but the person that bought it actually came into my open house on the very first weekend I had it listed. But when they got the price right, the house sold. So, and she knows that. They know that. And I know that. I know it wasn't anything that I did. It was the seller. And that felt really good. But I got so far in my head that honestly, I was kind of ready to leave real estate. I was like, all right, where am I gonna get a job? So don't get in your head. Stay out of your head. It's a really dangerous place to be.
What a freaking powerful story.
Yeah. It was amazing because I mean I made over $100,000 in commission because I lost a listing, and I was very sad. I literally left her house and cried as I pulled away. I was ashamed, embarrassed. I did the realtor walk of shame.
Chuck, if you don't make that video and post it on social media soon, I'm going to punch you in the face. Like, that is a freaking amazing story.
Yeah, it's pretty
Thank you
good.
for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Catherine, Erica, biggest mistake.
I think for me, I do so much follow up, and when I started real estate, and of course Tom Ferry would, watch him in the office, all of his things, and he said always have your top 20 or whatever. And obviously as you grow, you're building those relationships and keeping those relationships. You're like, okay, these are my top whatever now. So constant contact, those kind of things. Don't assume they're going to, even though don't ever assume and just say, okay, well, I have all of these people. This is so many deals to come down the line because these are my people. My story where I wanted to quit real estate this year is, I think I totaled up probably, so one day I have a day once a month where I will go through database basically and say, okay, these clients have come back into my life. We've actually been out showing or whatever the situation is. Let me follow up with those particular set of buyers or sellers. So you have the ones you're showing, okay, Erica, we're going to take a pause, or me and the husband or whatever, are not on, boyfriend, girlfriend, we're not on the same page. I think I totaled up on that day. I got 3 just on that day alone. Is one I was following up with, and it was because he opened up an AC company and he accidentally blurts out they bought a house and they were doing remodeling, and he kind of paused. And he says, Erica, don't hate me. The famous words, don't hate me. And I was like, no big deal. Of course, me being me, I still need you to come service Macy. He's a veteran. I do a lot of veterans. So I'm still going to give you my business. Then I call a client that we were wanting to sell the place they built. They were looking for something else. Long story. Called her, hey, are you in town? I'm gonna come by. We could have that, glass of wine you've been wanting to have, because usually when she comes in, we meet. I'm so mad at Mike right now, she says. I said, what's that? She goes, yeah, somebody he works with has a wife that's in real estate in Orange Beach, and that's who he's saying we're going to use. Okay, so don't hate me, Erica. So the famous words of don't hate me. So I think it's a total of 8 deals. I had another one I talked to before I went on a vacation. I think I had mine up too, Chuck. Mine was about $100,000, and it could have been probably a little bit more than that because some of those would have been $1 million sales, $1 million purchases. So probably in the 100,000 range. And that day I called Elizabeth and I said, I'm done. I said, this is bullshit. I said, I'm done. I said, these people know we're taking our time from families, etc. But so don't just assume, I guess, is the short story to my long win of, people are going to always be behind you and be counting on that, basically. Always have another revenue, 2 or 3 other types of places. I always set goals. I still do the $100,000, and I do mine in 2 months instead of the 90 days or 120 days. That 100,000, I set mine to 2 months is what I do. So it's like don't just assume, always have that extra avenue of where that 100,000 or whatever your mindset, your goal is. Know that you have it coming from somewhere else, because those clients are not loyal anymore, as much as they say they are.
Yep. Catherine, do you want to add anything to that?
Yes, I have two. One is more broad and then one is more practical, but this isn't necessarily on an agent side, but in real estate, I stayed on a team that did not value me for too long. And I stayed much longer than I should have. I gave every excuse to be like, I'm comfortable here. I've been here for a certain amount of time. As soon as I left there and started doing like aligning myself with the right people, made a ton more money, was so much happier, just mentally was able to grow and everything. So that is the one mistake that I didn't do. And that was on the investing side, but I was with a team that just didn't value me. And that can absolutely happen to agents too. And then the other mistake that I would say is if you have a cash buyer, always get proof of funds. So, and make sure those proof of funds are from them. So that is the other one I will say.
Yeah, there's an agent that was a part of the brokerage. I'm trying to get her back to come to Five, and she had an $8 million cash buyer for a listing, and she like the people told her, "Oh, it's in crypto. It's in crypto. I made a lot of money from Bitcoin, and so I'm going to sell some, and I'm going to buy this home all cash." And they just dragged their feet for like 3, 4 months. But because he was an elusive $8 million cash buyer, she just wasted all that time and nothing ever came from it. So, yeah, don't count your chickens until they hatch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you got to have lots of chickens
Mhm.
or lots of eggs, I guess, right? So that you can, if one doesn't hatch, you move on to the next one. It's hard. This business is hard. I mean, we all know this, but it's emotionally draining and physically demanding. And like some days you wake up and it's funny that you guys both said, this is the day I wanted to quit this year. We all have one of those moments every freaking year, maybe once a quarter. I don't know. But where we're just like, this is too much. Like I can't. And I've been there. We've all been there. And I think that you know, consumers out there think, oh, you guys just make too much money. What are you, a client, a friend of mine that I'd given to Ryan Hartkop to represent. I don't know if you listed his house or not yet, but he's like, well, you guys make too much money. Like, why? Why charging 3%? I'm like, shut up. Like, you don't even know. You don't even know. Like, when people work for, they do job, they get paid, do job, they get paid. They don't understand the risks that we entrepreneurs that work on straight commission make or take. Like, yeah, we have massive opportunity, but we also have the ability to make minimum wage, for goodness sake. And so, yeah, it's hard. Okay. Last question. Who's got a question? I mean, I have a ton, but like, anyone have a question for any of these folks here?
I have a question. So if what is the one thing that you wish someone would have told you when you first started in real estate? Because I have a couple of people that I'm mentoring right now, and I wanted to get some insight on that.
Hmm.
Like, what's the one thing that you wish you would have heard that you didn't when you first started?
I think it's more of a not what I wished I would have heard. It would probably be more of what I wished I would have really truly listened to and practiced. I've had some great advice over the years from Bob. And one of those is about valuing yourself and not giving up all of your commission and those types of things. And it's funny, even after gosh 11 years in real estate, I was recently asked to discount my commission. And now it was on a $2.6 million deal, and it would have followed up with $1 million home sale and a $750,000 lot sale. So there was quite a bit of money on the table, but they basically wanted me to do it for 1.5%. And I, I, in this market, I was like, I would be stupid not to just do this. And so I spent a Saturday in my truck at a water park for about 2 hours while my family was inside enjoying themselves with my grandkids. And ultimately, the deal didn't work out. So I wasted my entire morning, not just that 2 hours, but about 2 hours before that. I had probably a total of about 6 hours wrapped up in that. And I wanted so bad to tell them, this is why we don't reduce our commission, because we don't always get paid for our time and our effort and our work. And on top of that, I've already showed them probably 6 homes in the last year, no less than 12 hours there. So I've got well over 20 hours wrapped up into this. It's a repeat client, but and I had a buyer agent commission agreement for 3%, but it was after the fact they wanted to negotiate it. And I felt bitter because I allowed that to happen. I didn't set a boundary. And what I probably should have done is, if I was going to do that in this market and reduce my commission, I probably should have said, well, this is going to have to wait until after I spend the day with my family. I'll do it for 3% now, but if I'm going to have to give up time with my family, then I'm going to, it's going to be later in the day. So I wish that there's so many great things and so many wonderful pieces of advice that we picked up along the way, whether it's from Tom or Bill or Chet Black or whoever you listen to. Even here, so many great people have given so much words of wisdom over the years, the last 2 years that I've been with Fiv. And I wish that, not only that I would have listened or not only that I would have heard it, but that I would actually applied it. So I think it's more application for me.
Thank you, Chuck. Erica?
I think for me, I was so naive. And I think it's the whole thing of loyalty. I think that was a big thing, and how you work so hard and they want they want your professionalism. They want all of these things, but it's not offered back to you, basically. So I think that's the one thing I would have realized going into, because I've always been a loyal person. So just knowing that, one, it's always usually going to fall back on you, I think. And for me, I'm very sensitive. So when things fall back on me, even if it's not my fault, I have this going on right now. I have a deal 2026 on it was I think it was the Op City lead when like Op City was just starting out or whatever, and they were a cash buyer and they've been great, kept in touch. They come to my veteran events, all of the things. He calls, I'm thinking he's calling to sell. And he's calling in anger because they had bought this piece of property, and basically were not aware that if they ever remove this mobile home, they can, one, not put another one, and two, basically now it's going to turn into a commercial zone. So again, it's like I want it's like in my head, it's my fault as an agent, but like even my title girl's like, Erica, this is nothing you could have stopped, because I feel bad because now if they have to replace that mobile home, they can't even build a house on there if they want it to. And it's like me, I want to put everything on me. Now, most clients would be like, this is your fault as my agent. You should have checked zoning and all of those things, but zoning was not an issue at that time. Zoning changes. This is nothing, but again, I want to put all the blame on myself because I just feel really bad that this has happened. So I think that's like one of the big things is, loyalty, and just you can't, I wish people would have said, you can't, not everything's your fault. I think for me, I go to bed, I wake up with real estate on my mind, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but most days. And my clients, all of their stuff is on your shoulders. And because this is one of the biggest purchases that they're ever going to make in their life. And if I screw it up, not only is it bad in a sense of being sued, losing your license or whatever, it's also if you are a sincere person and you truly care about people, you won't be able to live with yourself and it'll be in your head and that's basically me. Just, not everything's your fault and you can't control other people. So,
Thank you, Catherine.
Um, I think one thing that has kind of surprised me maybe is that there are so many different ways of thinking and there's just different people, right, that are out there that I had no clue um wouldn't think like me, right? So it, like I'll take clients to a house and I'll be like, man, this is garbage. I hate this house. And then they're like, this is my dream house. And I'm like, perfect. Yeah, let's go. But um, I didn't realize that that was going to happen as often as it does. And so just I know there's different people out there and they have different thoughts and there's, different personalities and everything, but I don't think I was ready for the different viewpoints that they would have. So just if I wish somebody would have told me, I guess um, keep an open mind to it. Don't try to insert your own opinions or thoughts or anything. Just guide them through. Um, because if I would have put my foot in my mouth and said anything about some of these homes, they would have felt bad or they wouldn't have bought or anything. So thankfully I didn't do that, but in my head I did it, but not out loud. So I think that, we go over, different personality types and we'll go over, people who are A, B, C, whatever they are. But just remembering like whether, they have the same values as you or anything doesn't really matter, but it's just like you're guiding them. You're not like there are people out there who want different things than you do.
Love that. Thank you. You guys, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here to either listen or to most certainly share your stories. I think sometimes even myself hearing you guys talk, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not alone. I'm not, this isn't, I'm not the only one that's had that horrible experience or had that awesome experience or the roller coaster ride of the emotions that we experience. And Eric, I absolutely, I mean, not sleeping at night because your brain won't shut off because of all the things that are, in our heads of the things that we either failed to do or we should have done or that we have to do that we're not sure how we're going to do it. Like solving everyone's problems and everything falling on our shoulders or feeling like it is and it just feeling stressful. I saw this reel the other night of this lady was a new doctor and she was performing surgery and she took out something. I'm not technical, so I don't know, but like it made it to where this 18-year-old girl could no longer talk. Imagine if you were the doctor that made the oopsie mistake that made it to where this person could no longer talk. Like, luckily, we don't have that type of a stressful job. Our life is stressful, but it's not that crazy, right? So, I think it's good to have perspective sometimes. It's also good to be able to say, hey, listen, like, yeah, I take ownership. I messed up. I screwed up, and this is what I could do to fix it. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's not fixable. And I mean, sometimes maybe that the person that bought that property, that the zoning changed to commercial, that would tell me, sweet, now
well,
it's
that's what I
commercial
told them.
property. Like now it's worth more, for
Hmm.
goodness sake. So that could be a blessing in disguise for them. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is not great, right? So it is what it is. I really do have an immense amount of love for all of you. I know that I don't know you all that well, but I want you to know that I genuinely care and want all of you to succeed at a high level. And I'm grateful that the trust you guys have put into Fiv and put into this company and make it the wonderful place that it is. So anyway, thank you for being here. I'm grateful for you guys. Again, we're doing this. We do the master classes now just twice a month, so every other week, basically. We have our Friday trainings that we do every week that you guys are welcome to come to. We also do Tuesdays in the morning for people that want to recruit. And so if you want to be part of that call, you're more than welcome to be part of that call. That's weekly as well. And then we'll have additional trainings that we're doing that's specific to the different levels that you might find yourself in, either a new agent or an intermediate or an advanced agent. So we'll do specific classes that are more small, 8 to 10 people that will help us grow. So hopefully that works out.
And
Anyway,
those small classes you need to register for. So you need to sign up for those small masterminds. So everybody go onto Circle, click the links, and register for those. So.
Thank you for that plug, Emily. All right, guys, have an amazing Thursday. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you
Bye,
guys
everyone.
next time.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.